So my 100k review for the Nike Zoom Fly 3. So as you can see, it's well used. It's gone off-road, it's gone on-road, it's gone on treadmill. It's probably done about 20 plus Ks on treadmill, and the rest is all on the road. Even roads, uneven roads, bumpy roads, gravel, soft sand, hard sand, everything. I think I've pretty much put it through, except for like really wet, muddy surfaces. Overall, the shoe has been good. The more I ran in it, the more I broke in. So let's start by reviewing overall. Starting from the upper. The upper is done by this very nice soft plastic vapor weave material, but like I said earlier, it's not like a big plastic bag. If you see closely, it's actually perforated, so it's very breathable, which I like and I love about the shoe. Secondly, it's got a gusseted tongue, which as you can see on the inside, it's all one piece, like a big piece of sock. Although I have not tried running barefoot in without socks in it yet, but it feels really nice and snug inside. Feels like a second skin. And when you run in it, it really hugs your foot, like just like a sock. So on this, basically what it helps to eliminate is, when you have a second tongue, which is not gusseted, is detached. What happens is, sometimes if you don't have a proper lockdown, it tends to fold over on one side and cause those type of uneven pressure onto the upper of your foot, which is very uncomfortable, especially if you're doing on long runs. So you're sometimes come to a point where you're forced to stop and to adjust your tongue, and yeah, it's quite annoying. Secondly, the thing I like about this shoe is that, as you can see on the inner side, there are these ribs just here. These ribs hug onto your Achilles heel, so that you don't get that lift, that rubbing sensation as you would if without this. Because if without this, you can see the material is actually very thin and there's pretty much no structure here. So this thing here is very comfortable and it hugs around your foot just nice, so it creates less of that pressure. If without this, I'll definitely get a lot of heel rub, as I've yet to find a proper tie down for my foot on this shoe. Third thing is the fit. The fit of this upper, as you can see, has quite a significant amount of volume as compared to the Nike Pegasus or pretty much anything with the Flyknit upper. So this is very good for my foot, as I feel that my foot is pretty much high volume, especially on the midfoot area. So this gives a lot of comfort, which I haven't had with most Nike shoes in the past. So this is very much welcome. And the next thing is actually the width of the toe box is very unusually wide as compared to the previous Nikes which I've run in, which is the last Nike I actually run in is actually the Pegasus 34, which is a very long time ago, and it gave me a big pinch, because as you know, there's only so much you can do in the retail outlets, which you can't really actually test and try to know whether it actually fits you well or not. And coming to the midfoot, surprisingly, this Nike is actually wide on the midfoot, because I've always had that pinch in the midfoot, especially after 5 to 10 Ks, where your feet expand. Once they expand, then they tend to they tend to squeeze onto your midfoot, which causes that numbness, which I absolutely hated, which actually was pretty much the main fallout from me from choosing Nike shoes. So this was very good. So coming down to the midsole, this midsole material is actually using the Nike React foam, which is the same foam as the Nike Infinity React and any of the React series like the Epic React and so on. And this midsole material is bouncy. It gives you that sort of power transfer, that is that firmness that gives you that feeling of power transfer. At the same time, it has that bounce, that bounce. I would compare this closely to the Boost material, but however the Boost material I feel is slightly on the sluggish side. However, this one is more on the poppy side. They pop a lot more as compared to the Boost material, and also they are I would compare them slightly lighter. I'm not sure gram density per density, but they are very it's a lot lighter than the Boost material. So this is very much welcome. And this midsole combined with the carbon plate that's inside here is very nice. This is the very thing that allows me to run 10 clicks. I'm not a very seasoned runner myself, but I can run 10 clicks and still do a review and still talk and manage to maintain a good heart rate and not have as much DOMs as I normally do. So I believe that it's basically the setup of the shoe that helps to alleviate this issue. It makes you more efficient on your run. So as you can see, this shoe has quite a bit of a drop. Many would not really consider this as a daily trainer, as the drop is quite significant. I believe the drop from heel to toe is about 10 millimeters, 9 or 10 millimeters if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite high. So the idea of a drop is basically that here is higher than here. So basically it gives you that rocking sensation when you are in the shoe. So it's like you're ready to bounce forward. So I realized that this shoe has a very good rocker feel, where when you run, it tends to push you forward, and having the carbon plate in the shoe, you see, can't really bend this shoe at all. So having that rocker plate that really throws you forward, gets you back in your stride and pushes, and it's really very efficient as compared to my other rocking shoe, which is the Hoka Rincon, the Hoka One One Rincon, which has a rocker, very lightweight. I would say it's about probably 100 grams lighter than this shoe, but that shoe doesn't have a rocker plate, so it flexes. So it's a very different type of shoe. That one helps you get into your stride a lot faster. However, this one helps you to be more efficient. Okay, so that's for the midsole, which I think is pretty much the highlight of this shoe. The React foam and that carbon plate really puts you just there. Coming down to the outsole. There you go. The outsole. As you can see, after 100 clicks, there's barely any wear from the front to the back. As you can see, it's still very new. Doesn't look like I've run in it as well. Yeah, and I believe that this shoe, as you can see, there is actually, let me see if I can get, yeah, you can see there are like those wavy ribs over there. Those things there, that design really helps to grip onto surfaces. I've run on wet algae type tiles and wet slippery surfaces, and this shoe, I would personally say, is one of the grippiest shoes I've ever run in. Yes, even in grippier than my 1-ton Asics Kayano. Yeah, this is really sticky, and I was expecting it to wear off very fast, but looking at this, it still has a lot of life in. I would estimate that it will probably carry me 400 to 500 kilometers without a problem. So look out for my reviews further on. Oh, look at that! I had a bit of a heel strike, and yeah, probably when I was running through the off-road gravel a bit, and yeah, a bit imbalanced. So the downside, this shoe is not all bells and whistles and butterflies. So the downside to this shoe, to me, is the midsole as well, where I am a slight pronator. I used to be extreme, but now I've already corrected a lot of my pronation by strength training and stuff. But if you're an extreme pronator, I don't really suggest this shoe for you, because number one, the stack height is very tall, and you can see that it's quite a narrow bill on the midsole. So I wouldn't suggest this shoe for beginners, especially if you have not gotten proper run form yet. I would not suggest that, number one. Number two is for those who constantly run on uneven surfaces. This might not be the shoe for you, as the shoe midsole is quite squishy, and they don't provide very strong structure unless your run form is very good. Then you can run very safely into the shoes, because when I ran in these shoes for the first few rounds, it took me quite a bit of muscle memory training on this, because it's quite squishy especially on the corners, where it doesn't have much hole on your foot, and with this squishy midsole material, it doesn't provide much structure for your foot to flex on. So if you don't land flat on your foot and you're a heel striker, I wouldn't suggest this shoe for you, as it tends to punish you on every mistake that you make. So overall, this shoe and the price I paid for it, by the way, I was not sponsored these shoes. I bought it with my own hard cash. So overall, for the price I bought this shoes at, I say that it's all thumbs up. I would strongly suggest for those slightly more seasoned runners, if you want, I believe that it's well worth a try out. I would give these shoes a firm 7.5 out of 10 in terms of performance, in terms of longevity, in terms of, and I'm loving the looks. I do wish that the midsole area here came in black. I hate to see that these things get dirty so fast. So I've got to go and get these shoes all cleaned out for my next run. Alright, have a good day guys. Peace out.